Hello, welcome back to episode, I think, 56 of Retro Game Pickups. I've got a hell of a lot of stuff to show you guys in this episode, as you can see here, and this isn't even half of it. I've also got a load of stuff on the desk over there as well. So I'm going to start today's video by taking a look at by far the most controversial game of all time. That is The Last of Us Part 2. And I had this on pre-order way before I saw any of the spoilers, and I did see all the spoilers before the game came out, but honestly they didn't bother me that much. So have a look at this. I've done a nice unboxing of it, and then come back here and hear my thoughts about the game, and then we can move on to the hundreds of other games that I've got to show you guys in this episode. This is the special edition of The Last of Us 2, which I'm very excited to play, so let's get this thing opened up and see what's inside. Right, hopefully you guys can all see that okay. So I've actually forgotten what's inside this, so this is going to be quite interesting. That book, I'll do a close-up of that in a minute. So Ellie and Abby, is it? The bracelet. No idea what this is.
Is it a
tattoo or stickers? Pin badges. Let's have a look at these. So I hope you enjoyed having a look at what comes in that huge box down there. Now I'm going to briefly tell you my thoughts about the game. It's going to be completely spoiler free, so don't worry about that. And it's kind of interesting because me and my girlfriend have completely polar opposite opinions about this game. I finished this game in 3 days. It was a very long game. It was about 30 hours long, and I played it all the way through on the weekend, and my god is it depressing. And if you're a fan of the first game, you probably won't enjoy what they've done with this. I was a fan of the first game. In fact, if you saw my last video, I actually gave it a perfect 10 out of 10. And the direction they took this game is kind of weird, but at the same time I absolutely loved it. It really goes deep into the characters. It's a very dark story, and I absolutely love those kind of dark, depressing stories. I know that's kind of weird to say, but when I was thinking back, some of my other favourite games, To the Moon, Clannad, Steins Gate, they've all got insanely deep and dark storylines, and I think that's what I really enjoyed about this. And Naughty Dog did an amazing job with the graphics and the gameplay. They're both a huge step up from the first game. I love some of the new mechanics. I'm not going to go into any more detail about it now. I know it's a very divisive game. So if any of you guys have played it, please let me know what you think about it down in the comments below. I'd be fascinated to hear what you have to say. My girlfriend absolutely hated it. It reduced her to tears, and I can honestly see why, but I don't know, it's such a weird game. I don't want to cover it anymore. Let's move on to something else. It's just a really hard thing to talk about, but it was a really well-made game, I can say that much at least. Oh yeah, and I've got the fan on just because it's crazy hot in here at the minute. So this is all the stuff that was over on the desk. As you can see, I haven't even opened most of it yet, so let's start off with this pile and then we can move on to the other stuff on the box down there in a second. Right, so first of all, I've got 2 more games here that I got off Matt from Japanese Gamer Tech on Facebook. He actually gave me these 2 completely for free, which was really kind of him. They are Major League Baseball for the Famicom and Wizardry for the Famicom as well. I haven't tried either of these, but I'm very interested to try Wizardry because I've heard that's a great game, and of course it's one of the very first games of its type as well. So thank you so much for those 2, Matt, really appreciate that. And the next thing I've got here, I've got a lot of games that I picked up recently off eBay, so let's try and... oh, my hair's going to be a complete mess in this episode. Let's try and go through these one by one. And these are all for upcoming videos that I've got planned. So hopefully this should give you guys something to look forward to. Let's see what we've got here. I'm quite excited to open some of these because I've been sat on the floor over there for quite a while. So the first one here, wow, this is a blast from the past. Brilliant, I'm really looking forward to playing this. This is the original TrackMania for Windows 98 and Windows XP. I used to absolutely love this game growing up. It was one of my favourite, most addictive games on the PC, and I'm planning to do a video on the future about the entire series, so I'm really excited to get the first one, and I'm definitely going to go into a lot more detail and explain why it means so much to me in the future. But yeah, that's just one of many TrackMania games. There was actually a lot more than what I thought there was. There's actually about 13 of them, I think. So that's just one of them. And I think this one here should be another one. Yeah, so here it is, another TrackMania game, this time for the DS. And I didn't actually know this game existed until quite recently. This is TrackMania Turbo. I remember getting the original TrackMania game for the DS when it first came out, around the same time as the DSi, I think, and then this one came out the year after, and I didn't know about it at the time, but this one includes some of the extra game modes and different circuit types that are available in TrackMania United on the PC, so very much looking forward to giving this one a go later on, and I've got my DS charged up so I can play that straight after I've recorded this. Now, these next four here, these came all the way from Japan from a website called Buy, which is kind of like an easy way of shopping on Yahoo Japan and getting it sent over. It's a really good site. I've got a lot of stuff off them in the past. So let's see what's in here. And I actually can't remember what's in here because these have been sat on the floor for so long now. Although I do know what they all are. They're all part of the same series. And maybe I should have got a knife or something because they're very well wrapped. All these packages I get from Japan are just insanely well wrapped. I'm going to make such a mess on the floor as well. So, and some of these games are so obscure that I had no choice but to get them off Yahoo Japan, just because none of them, some of these have never even shown up on eBay. Oh, thank God it's got English on the other side. So this is a game on the PlayStation 1, and I believe it also came out on the Dreamcast. And the reason I picked this up is because it was co-developed by Quintet, and there is an English name on the side. It's called Cho Hatsume Boy Kanipan. I'll do a close-up of it so you can see what it is in a bit, but very happy to have that. I honestly have no idea what the game is like or what it's about or anything, but it's a game for the Quintet collection, which if you've been watching for a while you'll know I'm planning on doing a big video about those developers at some point in the future. So I think this next one's the Dreamcast version of that game. Or not, this is another PS1 game. This is another one that's just co-developed by them. This one is called Fish on Base. So very, very generic looking game, but I just had to get it as part of the collection. And I don't think this one's even got their name or logo on it at all. But whatever, I'll give it a go. It's for the video. So now these next two I'm not entirely sure. I think they might have several games in each. So let's get this opened up. Right, this one's got 2 PlayStation games in. Although I didn't order 2, so I don't know where this one's come from, but I won't question it. It looks like I got a free game. It looks like I got the Japanese version of Popular Croix on the PS1. No idea why I've got that, but I will give it a go. Very good game on the PSP actually, and unfortunately the disc wasn't quite stuck into the disc tray there, so hopefully it's okay. So we've got that somehow. And this is the game that I actually wanted. This is Inuyasha on the PlayStation 1, and once again Quintet were helping out somewhat in the development of the game, so that's another game that I need to play as part of the series. And let's see what's in here. This one must be the Dreamcast game then. That's an incredibly big package for such a small disc, but whatever. Yeah, this is the Dreamcast one. I don't know if there's any difference between this and the PS1 game. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's exactly the same name, so if anyone knows if this is like a sequel or... So yeah, it's got exactly the same name as the PS1 game here, but the cover art looks different, so if anyone knows anything about these games, let me know. Let me know if it's the same game on the PS1 and the Dreamcast, or whether they're different somehow. But really interested to try those out, so that's all of the games that I got in the post recently. Now, I've got a huge stack of things here and I don't even know where to begin, so why don't we start with some Game Boy games. That's always a fun thing to do on this channel. So we've got Bugs Bunny in Crazy Castle. I used to have this game, but for some reason I'd lost it over the years, so very happy to finally have a copy of that again. And on the back it's also got their old cheat codes for the action replay. The next game here, this one I got off a friend at work who got me in touch with someone on Twitter who was selling some games. This is Speedy Gonzales for the Game Boy, and it honestly plays just like an 8-bit version of Sonic, but on Nintendo's Game Boy system, which is just really cool. So I was really enjoying that one. The next one here is Chuck Rock, and if I'm completely honest, I haven't even touched this one yet, so I've got no idea whether it's any good or not, but I'll do a little bit of gameplay to put over this video here, so let me know what you think of Chuck Rock. On the Game Boy we've also got the original Adventure Island. I have Adventure Island Part 2, which is up there in the cabinet, but I've never played the original on the Game Boy before, so quite excited to give this one a go. And we've also got another game off my friend at work. This one's called Ishido, The Way of the Stones. This is just a really basic puzzle game, nothing too exciting there. And the last one, this one's quite interesting. This one is called Castle Quest, and I picked this one up because it's near the top of the alphabet, and I haven't got that many games to go from the top of the alphabet for the Game Boy. And it just looked kind of interesting as well, and it's not one that I'd heard of before, which is quite rare, so looking forward to giving that one a go. Right, where to next? Let's go back to the start of the year, and a very much anticipated sequel for one of my favourite games of last year. That was Resident Evil 3 on the PlayStation 4. I thought it was a great game, but at the same time I also thought that it was kind of short, and nowhere near as well thought out as the remake for number 2. But I did really enjoy it overall, and we did end up picking up the special edition, which actually came with a really nice high quality statue, just like the Leon one from Resi 2, so I'll show you guys that now. And overall I think I'd give the game a 8 out of 10. It was still really good, but it is incredibly short, and not a patch on the remake of number 2 in my opinion, but it is still really good. Now, a game that's not very good, and a game that's kind of related to that, this is a game called DeMer, and I got this on day one in the hopes that it would be something like a Resident Evil game, but me and my girlfriend were incredibly disappointed with what we played. Now, I know it's only an indie game and I shouldn't be too harsh on it, but honestly, there are no redeeming qualities to this game whatsoever. I was incredibly disappointed with it, and we played it for maybe 2 hours, possibly 3 maybe, and then we just gave up after that. And if I'm completely honest, I haven't even been back to it since. It really did leave a very bad first impression, and I doubt that I will go back and finish it anytime soon. But I wish the developers all the best of luck for their next game, but to be honest, I really think this needed another year or two in development to get rid of some pretty game-breaking bugs in the game, and just the pacing, the frame rate, the gameplay, just everything falls flat. I really couldn't get on with it at all. Now, a game that I could get on with, this is another game from earlier in the year. This is of course Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I played this all the way through and absolutely loved my time with it. The attention to detail that they've put into this is just spectacular. I love the new battle system, I love all of the extra depth that they went into with all the characters and the environments. They really fleshed out the first half of the PlayStation 1 game, and I think they did a fantastic job, and I'm really looking forward to part 2, even if the last hour or so of the game went completely way off in a different direction to what I expected it to be. And to be honest, I kind of lost it near the end. It felt kind of grounded up until that point, and then I was just like, okay, I've got no idea what's going on, but maybe they'll rectify that in the sequel. I did really enjoy it overall though. Now, the next modern game here, this is one that I actually picked up last year, but I don't think I've ever mentioned it on the channel. And I actually went back and played it all the way through, straight after I'd finished Final Fantasy VII Remake. That is Tales of Berseria. So one of my friends on Twitter is an incredibly huge fan of this game, and I've been promising her for a long time that I would get around to playing it, so I finally did, and I can definitely see why she likes it so much, and I absolutely loved the game as well. The characters in the game were absolutely fantastic. I loved the world, I loved all of the little skit scenes, I love that about all of the different Tales games. The battle system took a little bit of getting used to, but overall I thought this was an absolutely fantastic game. The only thing that I would have liked to see a bit less of is the backtracking between the different areas, but apart from that I really couldn't fault it. The graphics are brilliant, the music is outstanding, absolutely loved the soundtrack, and it was just a fantastic game from start to finish. I just loved the story and everything about it, like I said, and I was very happy to find this special edition that I've got here at one of the MCM Expos last year, so yeah, really enjoyed this one, and it's made me want to go and play some more Tales games in the future. Now we've got a lot of Switch games to get through, but before that I just want to show off this little guy here. This is the PC Engine Mini. I honestly think this is either the best out of all the mini consoles or the second best after the Mega Drive Mini. I really love the PC Engine, as I'm sure you know. If you want to see some more PC Engine videos that I've done, I'll put a link in the description to a few of them, and I might put a little eye in the corner there, and at the end of this video I'll put a playlist or one of the PC Engine videos on there as well. So I absolutely love the system. They've got a fantastic range of games on this for loads of different genres, loads of different play styles. You really can't go wrong with it. I was very, very happy to get this. And now I'm just going to whiz through these because there are a lot of Switch games that I've picked up recently. Let's just start from the top and work our way through. So, Trials of Mana, I think I briefly mentioned this on the channel before. I absolutely loved playing through this game earlier in the year. Really, really great remake of the SNES original that only came out in Japan. Now the next two, World of Goo and Octahedron. I actually mentioned these two in my super rare games video that I did earlier in the year, so I'll put a link in the description so you can go and have a look at what I think about these two in a lot more detail. I also picked up while I was in Japan, I haven't shown these two off yet. This is Project Diva, Mega 39s and Esperade. Both of these games are fantastic for different reasons. I'm a huge fan of the Project Diva games. I've got all of them up until this point, so I was really excited to get the game on the Switch. But I haven't played it as much as I would have liked at the minute, so hopefully I can set some time aside and play some of that in a bit. Esperade, on the other hand, is one of my favourite vertical scrolling shooters ever, and up until this point it was only ever available in the arcade and of course on MAME, so I was really excited to finally get an official console release of Esperade, one of Cave's best games, and they did a fantastic job of porting it to the Switch as well. And we also have here a game that I've been waiting a long time to get. This is Valhalla from Limited Run, a really cool cyberpunk bartender action game. It's a really cool visual novel with a really, really nice aesthetic. I haven't played it for too much, but I'm really enjoying what I've played so far. And it also came with this really cool poster as well, which shows off some of the games that Limited Run have done, all of the different Metroidvania games. So that's really cool to see. I didn't realise they'd done so many Metroidvanias, and of course that's a genre that's very popular at the minute, and I absolutely love it as well, so that's a really cool poster. Oh my god, this table's getting busy. Also got the Bioshock collection, which is one of the collections that 2K released on the Switch recently, and Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, which is a really, really cool Metroidvania. Like I just said, I love the Metroidvania games. And today, actually, on the New Games Plus video that was on Twitch earlier, Inti Creates actually announced a new sequel to Bloodstained, but it's actually a sequel to Curse of the Moon, which is the 8-bit version, which I actually preferred over this, so I'm really excited to play that because I love my 8-bit Castlevania games. Now, going back to PS1 games, these are a few leftovers from the games that I picked up while I was in Japan. I was planning on doing a separate video about them until I found out that, unfortunately, my PS1 that I've got at the minute only plays the Japanese games in black and white for whatever reason. I really don't know why it's doing that, so instead of doing a separate episode and not being able to get any footage, I'm just going to cover them briefly now. So this first one here is called the Zero Yon, and this is another Quintet game that I wanted as part of the Quintet series for the video that I'll be doing in the future, so I was very happy to get that. The next one here is called the Simple 1500 Volume 75, and it is Ray Storm and Ray Crisis in one game, so two fantastic games in one package, but I really wish I could actually play them in colour, because like I said, everything's in black and white at the minute, which is kind of a bummer. The next one is Legend of Mana, which is a game that I think has an incredible art style, one of the best ever in my opinion. It really does look amazing, so as soon as I get the cable sorted out or whatever I need to do, I'm really looking forward to giving this one a go. And the last PS1 game that I've got here is Jumping Flash 2. Now, I've never played the original, but I've heard that it's a great series, and I love watching speedruns of these games at GDQ, so when I found this for like 50 yen, which is practically nothing at all, I was really excited to pick this up, and I'm really looking forward to giving it a go as well. I've heard some really great things. Now, some more games from Japan that I won't be doing a separate video on because at the minute I don't really have a way of recording them. But I did just want to show this off because the box is amazing. This is the Japanese version of Metroid Other M, and just look at this cover, it's so cool. And it slides out like that, and basically you've got Samus there, and then you slide it down to put her suit on. And it's just a really, really nice box, and I know some people don't like the game, but I actually really enjoy it, so I was very excited to find that, and that was dirt cheap too. Now this next one, I've not even taken it out of its wrapper yet. This one is Tetris, the Grandmaster Ace on the Xbox 360. Apparently one of the best versions of Tetris there is. I haven't got a way of playing it at the minute, but I just had to get this as part of my Tetris collection because this is going to sound like an insane goal, but one day I want to collect every single version of Tetris for every single system that it was released on and do a huge series review about every single Tetris game. That's probably many years off into the future, but it's something that I've got planned for the channel, so I was really excited to get that. And these next two were two Dreamcast games, and I'm going to say this about a lot of games, but I was very excited to get these two. This is Cyvaria 2, which is a really cool vertical scrolling shooter, and Trigger Heart Exalica, one of the first games that I ever pirated on the Dreamcast way back in college when I first got my own laptop. So really excited to give both of these games a go, but unfortunately my Dreamcast is kind of dead at the minute, so I need to get a new system, and preferably one that's kind of modded so I don't have to go down the bootloading CD route and I can just put the games in and play them. So whenever I get around to doing that, I'll do another video on the Dreamcast games that I picked up in a lot more detail, so I hope you look forward to that. Phew, 20 minutes in and I've still got loads more stuff to cover. I'm going to save that for a bit later on. What can I show you next? How about Gates of Thunder on the PC Engine? I picked this one up. This is actually the PC Engine Works version, so it's not official, but as I'm sure you guys know, they do incredibly high quality reproductions for PC Engine games, and honestly, I know it's a reproduction and I probably shouldn't say this, but you can't tell the difference between this and a genuine copy of the game. And I just wanted to play the game, and it was a lot cheaper to go this route rather than trying to track down an original. And I have to say, this is by far one of the best horizontal scrolling shooters that I've ever played, ever. I really am very impressed by this game. So I did record another part of this video, but unfortunately I'd forgot that the fan was on and it was just impossible to listen to. Still up on Kickstarter right now. So I'm re-recording this bit now, and I'm really glad that I did, because I just went to the post box and there's like another 6 parcels here. So I'm going to start by opening these up, because I was very excited to see all these and they literally just fell on me. So let's see what's in here, and I've got some other really cool things to show you before we finish this video. And hopefully I can get through all this without being too hot. So first up we have TrackMania United for the PC, which is the basic version of it. There's another one called United Forever, which I've also ordered, which might be in one of these. This might just all be TrackMania games, because I'm trying to get the full set. So this one is TrackMania, including the Powered Up expansion. This is the original TrackMania game, but including the first DLC pack on one disc, so that's really cool. Unfortunately, I tried to get that to work on Windows 10 yesterday, but it doesn't work, so I'm going to have to dig out my old Windows XP machine to play that. Okay, so this one is, unfortunately, even though this is brand new, the disc's actually loose in there. This is TrackMania Original, which isn't actually the original game. This one's actually based on TrackMania Sunrise, but using the courses from the original game. So it's kind of an interesting one, so I figured I would pick that up to talk about alongside the true original TrackMania. So that's why I got that one. And I'm not going to do any gameplay for all these in this video, because I just haven't got time, because I'm actually filming this on Thursday and I want the video to be live tomorrow, so no chance of me doing that, especially in this heat. So this one is actually TrackMania Sunrise, and this is actually the first version of it that I ever played. There it is, and it also comes with the demo disc as well. And I will go into a lot more detail about my history with the series in the actual video, so I won't mention about that too much right now. So this next one feels like another DS game. This one might not be a TrackMania game actually. Yes, so this is kind of related to TrackMania. This is called Race Driver Create and Race. So this is another racing game where you can build your own tracks, and the developers that made this actually went on to make the DS versions of TrackMania, so that's why I ended up getting this one. And there's one more here. Hopefully this is TrackMania United Forever with the 3D glasses. I did actually used to have this one, but I've got no idea where it is. So yeah, I ended up getting it again. This is the most feature-rich version of TrackMania, and hopefully they're in here because it said they were on eBay. Yes, it actually comes with some TrackMania 3D red and blue glasses, which is really cool. So fingers crossed. This one's kind of a more modern entry in the series as well, so fingers crossed that can actually work on one of my PCs so I don't have to dig out the old one. So wow, there was quite a lot of extra stuff to go through there, and I did have a few more things that I wanted to show you, but I'm not sure where they've gone, so give me 1 second. Right, here they are. So there's a few magazines that I wanted to show you guys as well. So the first one here is Pixel Bison, and this is a brand new fanzine that's based around indie games and retro games, so it's right up my street. I really had a blast reading through this. I'll put a link in the description so you can go and check out their website and their Twitter page, and there's some great content in here, as well as a big bit about Quest Arrest, which is a fantastic Game Boy homebrew game made by a good friend over on Twitter, and I'll put a link to his personal handle, RetroUnlim, and to the Quest Arrest Twitter page as well, so you can go and check that out. And he's actually working on physical versions of the game as well, which I'm really looking forward to. So that's really cool. The next thing here, I'll show you this one first actually. Of course, I've also been getting all the recent editions of the Switch Player magazine, but I wanted to show this one off in particular because this cover is actually drawn by my girlfriend, and I just think it's absolutely fantastic. And it leads me nicely on to the next thing, which is this magazine here called Minty Fresh. This one is actually, ignore that cover because this one is actually just a proof of concept. The actual first edition of Ninty Fresh is actually up on Kickstarter right now, and the reason I bring that up is because my girlfriend is also drawing the cover for the first issue of Ninty Fresh. So if you think this looks really good, then you'll be amazed at what she's managed to do for this one. It goes back to the good old Nintendo Power days, and they've recreated the cover amazingly. So I'll put a link to the Kickstarter. I think there's still a few days left on it, so go and have a look at that while you've still got the chance. And there was also 2 art books that I picked up while I was in Japan that I wanted to cover in this video as well, because although they're really cool, I didn't think I wanted to dedicate an entire episode to just 2 things. So the first one, of course, you know I'm a huge fan of Clannad, so this is the Clannad Memorial art book. Unfortunately, all of the interviews and stuff are in Japanese, but it's really cool to see, and there's loads of character portraits and all the different designs for all the characters, all the different sketches. I just love all of the characters in Clannad, so that's really nice. And then there's some really nice, high quality, full page, full colour drawings in there as well. So really nice book that is. And the last thing that I wanted to show you guys before I go and have a cold shower, because it is 32 degrees today, that's just insane, and I've been in here all day, so I really want to try and get away from this heat. But the next one here is the Atelier Riser art book as well, and although I haven't played the game, I'm a huge fan of the artwork in all the Atelier games, so I was really happy to find that, and I picked these 2 up from one of the Mandarake shops in Japan, and they're always just so cool to go and have a look around in. I've actually still got loads of footage from when I was in Japan that I haven't uploaded yet. I just haven't got round to sorting it all out yet, so expect some more videos coming before the end of the year. Now for the final game that I'm going to be showing off in this episode, yes I know it's been a long one, but I just had to talk about this. This is Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition for the Switch, and I'm very glad that I picked up the special edition here, which actually comes with a record, and I don't actually have a record player at the minute, but my sister's got one, so I might have to beg her to borrow that. And it also came with a really nice steel case for the game. And of course, what else have we got in here? So here's the vinyl, I'll just get that out and show you now. And it's got 2 different sides, and there's a track list there, and I just love how it actually looks. So let me just get it out of this so I can show you guys. Look at that, how cool is that? That's amazing. And there's the other side, it's got one of the symbols from the Monado on it. So this alone has made me want to get a record player, so how cool is that? I really can't get over how good that is, and I absolutely love the soundtrack to the game as well, so I'm really looking forward to giving that a listen. And it also came with a really nice big poster. I haven't got any room in this house at the minute, but so when I move into my new house, hopefully later on this year, then I've got this really nice Xenoblade poster to frame and put up on the wall. And of course we're not done yet. Just like any good special edition, it also came with a huge art book, and this is a beast of an art book. This is massive, so have a quick look through that now. I love the art of Xenoblade, so it's really cool to have this, and there's loads to look at in this. Fantastic special edition, and I've really been enjoying the game as well. It's a huge graphical improvement to the Wii game, which, if you saw my last video, I almost put on my 10 out of 10 games list, and I honestly think that the Switch version's even better. But that's it for this episode. Thank you all so much for watching. I know it's been a really long one, so hopefully you're all still with me here at the end. If you are, please leave a comment down below and let me know you made it all the way to the end of the video. Let me know what your favourite things were from this episode. I've still got loads of stuff on the desk over there that I didn't even get around to covering, so probably next week I'm going to do another one of these, and that will give me a chance to play all of these different TrackMania games that I picked up for the TrackMania series review, which hopefully I'll be uploading maybe in the next month. I'll give myself that long. So thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you all next week for the next episode. Goodbye.